Hi everybody, it's meteorologist Joe Cioffi on this Sunday night as this major storm in the Northeast continues, and we're going to the Brady Bunch boxes here as we take a look at what is happening and what is going to happen going forward. So let me get through this, and then I'm going to join you guys in the chat box and we'll discuss your questions and observations. First off, I want to show you, we're going to start off with the current radar, the current regional radar, because there are a few things going on here. We have the actual low center as of 9 p.m. sitting one low center southeast of Atlantic City, but if you look out to the east, there's this big yellow circular area that's developed there. There's a second low that's pushing northward, and this is what is tightening the pressure gradient around the coastal areas from north coastal New Jersey across New York City, Long Island, and through southern New England. We are seeing the winds pick up. I've already seen some gusts along the south shore of Long Island. At the highest gust I saw was 64 miles an hour on the eastern end of Fire Island, and we've seen a lot of spots with gusts in the high 30s to mid 40s. Those winds are going to continue to increase. They're actually not going to peak until around or just after midnight. So it's from now till say about 2 a.m. that we're going to have to deal with this. The rain has been especially heavy with a large area getting 2 to 4 inches. And in fact, this is, I can't remember, you probably have to go back to sometime last winter. This is the first time in a long time that we've seen this widespread heavy rains from Virginia all the way up through upstate New York and now up into southern and central New England. This is really made up in a big way for the bone dry pattern that we've been in for the last 6 or 7 weeks. So at least from that standpoint, we've gotten some good out of it, but a lot of the spots have been flooded out. A lot of roadways are flooded out here, and not good. Now, I'm going to pull up the HRRR model and the winds. This is actually going to be for 10 p.m. The forecast winds, and I'm going to be curious to see how well it does. The blue indicating winds in excess of 55 knots, and you can start to see the lighter blues. You start to get into 60, 65 knots. It might be a little bit overdone. I'm not sure yet. I mean, we certainly have already seen some gusts to 60, so you know what? If somebody winds up with a gust to hurricane force or 2, I wouldn't be surprised. But it might just be a little bit overdone, but it's still going to get very windy here as this low lifts northward. Notice that once you get down, these are gusts again, not sustained winds. Once you move from central New Jersey on southward, the winds aren't all that bad. Some gusts into the 30s, but nothing crazy. It's from the north coast of northern New Jersey across New York City and the Hudson Valley, and then points east, and particularly over Long Island, where some of these winds are forecast, at least by this model, to get pretty strong. And I'm going to now jump 2 hours ahead. This is the map for midnight on the HRRR, and we'll move that up, and you can see here again over central and eastern Long Island, 55 knots or higher. In gusts, 40 knots or higher, going back to about just west of New York City and then just west of the Hudson River. So it's going to be a fast burst of wind as this low goes by, and then after that, after about 1 or 2 a.m., the winds are going to be shifting around. We'll go to the northwest. They'll be strong and gusty, but I don't believe that they will be as strong as indicated here. The satellite signature is typical of big storms. One of the things that's happened here, we talked about this the last several days. We were wondering what would be the impact of Tropical Storm Philippe. And if you look on the satellite, Philippe is completely gone. It was racing northeastward this afternoon at almost 50 miles an hour when it moved past the northwestern Bahamas. It has gotten completely absorbed by this developing non-tropical cyclone now sitting just off the New Jersey coast. And that really should not be a surprise. This system in the east was so big and the energy with it so immense and so wide, over covering a large geography, it seemed to me that to keep it as a separate entity inside the developing cyclone was a bit unrealistic. And indeed, it wound up getting completely absorbed. The way the European was favoring, the European of all the models probably is going to wind up doing the best out of this, trying to show more of one low center. You can see there's a bright white blotch of clouds out southeast of New Jersey. That's probably going to be where the wind, with the wind maximum, once that area moves over Long Island. You've, again, that classic comma shape in the satellite, covering a huge amount of geography here, many hundreds of miles, and lifting on up fairly quickly toward the north. You can see the kicker system behind it, by the way, dropping into the northern plains, that is lifting this up up and northward along the east coast. Why don't we now, we're going to take a look at, before we even, I'm going to put up the GFS first, because even the, the GFS was still insistent, even at this stage of the game. And I'm going to just put the tight region here, the tighter northeast region. And, it still wanted to keep some sort of separate entity with a low here. That may be some sort of non-tropical, low that is trying to form. Sometimes that happens where your primary low starts to weaken and a new secondary low at the point of occlusion takes over. So that's probably what that is. And you can see that we get general improvement going into Tuesday and Wednesday. The next weather front will approach later on Thursday with maybe a couple of showers with that. But the pattern, at the very least, looks very quiet going forward. I'm going to switch now to the HRRR model. We'll go super close up here, and I'm going to start with the wind. We'll back it up to the beginning, and this HRRR model is a super short-term model, folks. It comes out every hour, okay, and it only goes out 18 hours. But you can see by 11 o'clock the large area of red, that sustained 40 to 50 knots, covering Long Island back to about New York City, and then it gradually diminishes, and then we get into when we get into the increasing west to northwest winds. Tomorrow we'll have some gusts up to 40 miles an hour, I'm sure, during the morning hours and into tomorrow afternoon, until finally that low moves away. In terms of rainfall, additional rainfall. Now remember, this is on top of what's already fallen, so we're looking at another couple of inches in some places, particularly up into the Hudson Valley, starting to get into the back edge of the rain down in central and southern New Jersey. So that will gradually, those amounts of course are less, but again, when it's all said and done, this is turning out to be a really fantastic rain event. Even though it has caused considerable flooding of many roadways, but it's just been so long since we've seen rain covering much of the mid-Atlantic and the northeastern part of the United States. So for everybody that was looking at that dry pattern for the last 6 weeks, we certainly made up for it in a big way. All right, so let me just jump on board here with you guys as you are discussing, and we'll discuss some more, of course. So just give me a second here. I'm going to get to the chat board and kind of back up and catch up with what some of you are saying. So let me give you a collective hello to everybody. And Hosea, yes, the Europeans seem to have worked better. Alicia Ragonis, welcome. Hope I got the last name right. You're new to the chat board, and it's good to have you here. Anne-Marie Passaretti from Baldwin, you're getting that wind now. Jason Schaefer, here comes the rain and the wind for the east, for Long Island again. Raining all day for Sumi Girl 5 in Virginia, in Norfolk, Virginia. Cullen 1.63 in northwest Jersey. You're not going to get much wind, Cullen, up there until the wind shifts to the northwest later tonight, and you'll get the wind from that. You're not going to get the strong winds that they're going to say that we're going to see down near the coast. 979 pressure from Stan in Monmouth County, in southern Monmouth, 2.31 inches of rain. Jason Schaefer, I don't think there was, not that I heard of, as far as Philippe is concerned, no damage that I heard about. I know there was a tornado, I think, that touched down somewhere yesterday, I think near West Palm Beach, that someone alerted me to, but I really didn't look into it. The European did very well with this, I have to say, now that these winds are, let's see how the wind field verifies overall to see if it hits a complete home run or just a triple. Just Zach, wind speed picking up, wind gusts in central Mass. You'll probably see stronger winds, I think, when the wind shifts to the northwest, during tomorrow morning, during the morning hours, rather than ahead of it, in my opinion. 3 inches of rain where you are, Cynthia Guignaudis, and another 2. You're going to be winding down soon, though. It won't be too long before it's all done, which is a good thing. Robert Hurley, there is some variation. You're in Bethpage, maybe, there are a few. I was looking at the rain totals generated by the Doppler. There were a few little pockets that got, less than everybody else, but, the Northern State Parkway was closed because of the flooding tonight. Raymond, Albany mentioned that the wind part of the storm has not materialized. My winds are calm. Yeah, well, you know what? It's probably not going to materialize up your way until very late tonight, until the low goes by. And then you might crank up a bit. But this has definitely been more of a downstate event, and for the wind, particularly along the coast. 38-mile-an-hour gusts over in White Plains. So they're picking up there, too. 1.6 inches of rain in Cumberland County in South Jersey from Dwayne McChesney. I did see some rainfall amounts in South Jersey, some local places up to 4 to 5 inches. Again, turned out to be a really good thing with respect to the rainfall, at least. So we're not going to be, we're going to be okay for a while from that standpoint. All right, so we're going to end it here, folks. Been a long day for me. Thanks for being here as always, and make sure check out my Facebook page. Been doing some live streams over there too. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi, and the website meteorologistjoecioffi.com for all the latest posts. And tomorrow we'll spend some time looking at the long range. Looks like the pattern kind of relaxes a bit. It doesn't look overly warm, but it doesn't look overly cool here either in the east. We're still going to wind up with temperatures above normal, but I don't know if they'll be crazy above normal. Some idea that the very broad flow in the jet stream might help to cool things down just a little bit and maybe get it closer to normal in the longer range. I don't know. We'll see what the later models do. Anthony Orr, good to see you here. Pouring in Middlebury, Connecticut. Yeah, there's some, by the way, in parts of the Hudson Valley up near Dutchess County, Ulster, Dutchess County, over to Litchfield County in Connecticut. We've got flash flood warnings up for maybe up to half a foot of rain. Looks like a big area of heavy rain and thunderstorms kind of sat over there for the last couple of hours, and you guys have been getting pounded. And that might continue for a while because we've got more to go. All right, folks, have a great, what very little is left of your Sunday, and we will see you tomorrow as things start to normalize in the atmosphere and this major storm gets out of the way.